Hey guys, welcome back to another video here in the Alpha Pack Shop. This will be part 5 of the Can-Am Renegade 1000R XMR Rebuild. Let's get into this one while we get toasted. You warm there, bud? Or you're sitting in front of the heater getting warm. It is cold over here in Louisiana, boy. It was in the mid-20s last night. Yes, like I said before in another vid, I am not built for the cold whatsoever. I'm over here with three jackets, 2 shirts. Dude, I am layered up like no other. Got thermals on, jeans, you name it. Like 2 pairs of socks. Guys, I'd be shivering in here if I didn't have all these clothes on. I don't know how y'all do it living up north and stuff. Guys, oh my God, down here it's like bone-chilling cold when it is cold. It's like wet cold. But anyway, enough of that. We're back on the motor that I was waiting for some comments, and I got one. Thanks, guys. One. But anyway, the guy who did comment, thank you, he said, run that base gasket. So guess what? We're going to run it after I clean all this up, which I've already kind of done most of it. So I got the head done. I need to clean those gears. I just need to finish this case half over here. I already got the outer cover cleaned up, have the guide sitting over here, tensioners in that box, so chain, all that good stuff. So anyway, now we're going to start reassembling after like I said, clean it up. I'm going to also try to get some of this gunk out of the bottom of the motor, either with some gas, something. I'll pour down there and pull the drain plug and drain it out. Hopefully it looks good. I'm not going into the bottom of this motor. I'm not going in any further than this. So, yeah, let's get busy cleaning things up, getting it ready for reassembly. Here we go. Ta-da. I got something done. So, guides are in, chains in. Yep, boy. Got the head on, torque down. Yep, boy. Now we're moving on to flywheel, gears, and then we can put that outer cover back on. And once we get that all situated, we can then put this cam gear on and the tensioner in, and hopefully it'll be where it needs to be, because I don't have the little tools that they sell for however much they sell them for to put on there and on here to make that happen. So we're going to do it old school. Here we go. All right, flywheel, gears are in. I got the bolt chilling over there with some blue Loctite. Whenever I look up the torque spec, I will put it on there and torque it down. That, or I'll take that big old impact and ugga-dugga that sucker on there, and it ain't going nowhere. Then we can take this here gasket, dress it up with that gasket dressing, put this case cover back on, make sure this is at TDC, and put this here cam gear where it needs to be with this new chain. So then it will be basically almost back to where it was whenever it was sitting over there, you know, when I was just doing valve covers at that time, which I thought. Then I found all this. But then we'll go throw all these other components on that it needs, and we can maybe put it back in this bike, Rodshaw, with the transmission that we got off eBay from Power Sports Nation. That'll be after I remove that right there stud, that snap. Ah! I'm tripping over my own stuff. Goodness gracious. I need to go in and do some other stuff. So when I come back, this will all be put on, and then I'll be working on that cam gear and probably have that all situated with the new tensioner. So then we'll talk again. Got this side all good to go, bro. So let me go over the torque specs with you. This here 14 mil hex, crank bolt, 110 foot-pounds, guys. 110. These here case bolts are 89 inch-pounds, which is around 9 foot-pounds, guys. These here cam bolts, the cam gear bolts, are, so 22 is what they say with blue Loctite, but that seemed a little excessive to me and the video guy I watched, the four-wheeler doctor dude. Yeah. He did like 10 foot-pounds. I went ahead and did 14 with blue Loctite. They should be good to go. These here on the cam tensioner are 53 inch-pounds, and then the center bolt, which is a 15 on this new tensioner, is 89 inch-pounds or 9 foot-pounds, or maybe even 10 Newton meters. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe that that's what's up. But anyway, we are now going to go over something that I may or may not have mistakenly done. So guys, if this ever happens to you, do your research before you start just thinking you're going to get away with, oh, let me just change these guides. Don't do what I did, okay? Because after doing more research, I learned that I should have split these cases in half to make sure no material gotten at the bottom of this motor where the screen is and all, which I do know there was some plastic up in this oil filter. So, I don't know, guys. They say that the plastic stuff or anything that gets in the bottom of this motor, it will clog ports and starve spots in the motor for oil and burn it up. And we don't want that, guys. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this case half off over on this side. And we are going to, while we're in there, clean it all out, blow everything out, try to flush this motor out as good as possible without splitting the cases. Okay, however, I got to do that. And we're going to go ahead and change this chain, the guides, and tensioner, all this stuff on this side while we're in it, and then put a new gasket, new seal. Then we're going to also, maybe while we're doing that, we have seals for the front and back of the through shaft. So we're going to go ahead and tear that apart to change them seals. And while we are in there, hopefully I can get to more of the inner part of the motor and get anything out that I find. Hopefully I didn't make a huge mistake by not doing my research, guys, but there wasn't a hell of a lot of material that was just not on here. I mean, those holes you see, it was melted plastic, and I pushed it out with a screwdriver. So most of the like this had just happened. This bike hasn't been ran since, you know, the tranny messed up and whatnot. This is what the other guide looks like. I'm telling you, there wasn't a hell of a lot of material in this side, so we're gonna see when we take the other cover how bad it is and know if I made a huge boo-boo or not, guys. So let's get into that side and see what she looks like. All right, guys, so got this side cover off. I should have hit this with some Scotch-Brite before we're trying to remove that, because there is a metal freaking bearing that sits in this case and it can scratch it up a little bit. Ask me how I know. We're gonna run it though, because they didn't send me a new one. Anywho, we got it off, and then all this white stuff or this weird stuff just dumped everywhere, and I'm like, man, there wasn't that much mud on here. But then I look in here, guys, look at this. What the hell is that? Look at this. It's like mud. Look at all that. That's what fell from up here. I don't know how the hell dirt is up in here. This center slit. There is no like orifice, like holes or any of that good stuff. And then it's like right here and then here. I don't know, guys. That's kind of weirding me out. I don't know. It just is there. I don't know. I can't answer that. But guess what I'm not finding? A bunch of plastic. Ha ha! Which is a good thing. So, and I can see way up in there. There's a couple things up in there. But anyway, I can see way up in there. And I'll be able to vacuum all this up. And then I can hit that with some gas or diesel down in there and pull the drain plug and get all this bottom end cleaned out and rinsed out. And I'm hoping, since I don't see any freaking plastic, I'm assuming the screen is going to be just fine because there's no plastic all over here and whatnot. I'll see what comes out of the bottom and we'll know if the screen needs to be cleaned, as in blow back through the oil pump down in there where it gets it off. But anyway, that's it, guys. We got that off. So I guess at this point, we're going to go ahead and start taking things apart, and I can change out these guides, even though they probably don't need to be changed, and the chain's probably good too. But I guess while I'm in here, I might as well, right? So here we go. I may have finally caught a break, guys. I didn't even think about this, but since, you know, this side wasn't damaged at all, I don't really have to change out this guide where you got to remove the head. So I'm going to leave that sucker and not remove the head. And I'll probably just change this one here and that bottom one down here and change the chain. And we'll put it back together and put it back in time, which it shouldn't have moved. So, and then we'll clean out the bottom end and get all this crap out of here and all the crap out of there and flush it out and whatnot. And then we can go back together with it, guys. And then we're also going to come back on this side at TDC, and where's the tensioner? Boom. So I've noticed on these cheap POS freaking tensioners that this spring rotor right here has the little slit and that tight, you know, keeps tension on it. These are winding the opposite direction of what the OEM one is. So this one, you know, when you freaking tighten it up, it gets tighter, actually, this whole spring. This spring, the cheap crap one, gets looser, like it goes the wrong direction to have tension, in a sense. So we're going to have to scrap that and put the old crap back in it that was kind of cracked or whatever. I may try to use the other outer housing, because one of these is, like I said, it's cracked on the end. There it is. A little crack. So yeah, we're gonna try and we're gonna change the tensioners back to OEM as much as possible. So anyway, I'll come back whenever I get all this back all together. All right, commencing cleaning of the case half, guys. And I use a maroon Scotch-Brite pad, some diesel up in this here, or some gas, and then I got brake clean, and you can use WD-40, lubricant, whatever you want. Get all this all cleaned up, however you're gonna do that. Try not to mess up the, you know, mating surfaces. You can use a brass brush if need be. Don't use steel. Anyway, once that's cleaned up, we're gonna have this side all cleaned up as well. And then my buddy brought me some diesel, and we are gonna dump that diesel right over here where the dipstick is in the fill, and it's gonna go all in the bottom of the motor, and then we're gonna shake it all up or something. And we'll probably have this through shaft removed as well when this all takes place. And then we'll clean all that crap out, make sure it's as good as we can, and then we can whoosh, throw it all back together. And then guess what, guys? It'll be good to go, yeah! I'll be excited when that happens. But here we go. Let's keep on keeping on. Hey guys, so all the gears are back in it, chains in it, new guides, all that good stuff. Tensioners all set up and good to go. Got that timing gear parallel to the surface of the head, obviously. And down here we have a number 2 in the inspection port. Oh, someone may have just shot a deer. That's what it sounds like. Anyway, back to this. So I'm about to lop up some goop on that gasket right there and put this case half on that I have a new seal installed in. That's all greased up. I'm also going to oil up and grease up that so that it slides on there nice and good, and put some oil here where this other bearing rides, and that'll all be good to go. Then we're going to rotate that motor over a couple times, get back over on this one, cylinder 1, and get this tensioner all situated with the all old OEM stuff that has the right spring for it. And then we'll put it all back together, like the intake and water necks, and then finally the Blackbird valve covers that I initially tried to put on there will then finally go on. And we should be good to hook it back to, or hook it up to that transmission I got off eBay. This seal didn't come with the kit I ordered, so it looks like I may just have to leave it, and we'll just put the tranny back on. I can always change the front seal if it ever does decide to leak down the road. Yeah, because it's easy to get to. But anyway, guys, we're almost there. So here we go. I'm gonna throw that that cover on and that gasket, and we should be golden. It'll be good to go whenever I come right back. Cover's on, valves are lashed multiple different times, so we got them good to go. Everything's timed and ready to rock. So we are about to put on these Blackbird valve covers. That's what we originally started out to do. So now we get to slap those bad boys on and bolt them down, and then put it all back together, and then hook it to the tranny, and then we'll come back. Transmission is being prepped. I was able to remove that 13 with a 6-point 13, guys. You want a 6-point wrench, and then you can remove this. That was cool that came with it. Too bad the U-joint's bad. This had a stud in it as well that they left in there, so it was studded back through here or something. I had to remove one of these case bolts so I could slide it out. This one down here, I believe. Anyway, we got that out. I'm going to clean these surfaces up. Anything that's going to have to go on it, I'm going to put on it, like this sensor here. And then I'll clean all this up where it hooks into it, and do the same on the engine. And then we're going to throw both of them down here onto this mat, and that's how and where I will bolt them up together. That way we can then transfer it over to here into the Renegade, guys. So all we're going to need is to remove this here bolt, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do about some motor mounts. I'm either calling custom shock bushings guy to do it, or I'm going to order some solid ones to go into the transmission and motor and the top part. I want one for the top. That is going to be a U-joint or 2 for this build. I think the Maverick drive shaft I have chilling right here is going to have the same size U-joints as the rear. So we're going to pull those out after I measure them, and hopefully be able to take the old drive shaft and put those good U-joints in those. So I'll come back whenever we're throwing this bad boy together. Oreo put that transmission on that motor, bro. I guess not. Never mind. Well, guys, I guess we'll have to do it. So I got the motor and tranny down here on the ground. I got this lubed up where that little inner lip seal is on there, and then where it goes on, where it slides in there at. And then I'm gonna put some Loctite on these nuts. And I believe the torque spec, I looked it up, is 25 to 35 foot-pounds. So we about to put them together, and then that'll be out of the way. Here we go. Motor and trans are together and back in, guys. My buddy helped me throw it in. Thank you, Jeff. And we got her bolted down. Now, got to just plug everything back up where it goes after we clean up the connectors and dielectric grease everything. And then we will have all the parts being cleaned, which is happening now out there via that pressure washer. And we are going to, piece by piece, like a puzzle, start going in reverse and putting it all back together. And then we will then, be able to know if everything we did was all worth it. Yeah, boy. Also got the clutch cover about to go back on. I'm getting that cleaned up and getting some RTV for that. And like I said, once all the cooling system has to go on, I do want to say these freaking wild boar kits, they're only bolted at the bottom. So I do plan on, I think, welding some brackets or something to there to where they'll come and hook to the frame somewhere to prevent it from vibrating so much. So that'll be down the road though. We also have brakes to deal with. We have the rear drive line to deal with as well, with new U-joints, new bearings for the trailing arms. And what else we got? Oh, thermostat I need to get. Need to get a couple things and order, get on there and order, guys. I got to start ordering stuff so I can get it all in and get it all done. But yeah, as of right now, we got her bolted in using the best OEM bushings that I have. And speaking of bushings, I have a plan, guys. We're going to do something with these bushings because I find these engines tend to flex a heck of a lot under load and they move a lot, and which causes the drive line to get on a bad angle, and then it ends up down the road ruining your diff somehow, way, shape, or form. When I called Can-Am to see about getting some, they said, oh, we don't keep those in stock because we don't ever have a problem with them. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, right. Anyway, at their store, maybe not, but I bet you their rear diffs, they always changing them suckers. That's the main thing with these bikes is the rear diffs going out. But anywho, if we can solve the motor flex issue, then the motor is going to stay where it is and not have any problems down the line, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to have measure somehow, way, shape, or form how much flex it's all got using the stocks, and then we'll stock modify with maybe some RTV to try to strengthen or stiffen them up. There's polyurethane, and then there are solid mounts. I have talked to Custom Shock Bushings owner, and he is going to help me develop a set that's going to be hopefully stiffness-wise in between the rubber OEMs and the polyurethane mounts. So it'll have a little less, because when you're riding on one with solid mounts or polys, you feel it all the way through the handlebars and all, and your feet. It vibrates a lot. So to help limit that, if we had a material that was better than the rubber, but just not as stiff and hard as the polys, we should be right in that area, I feel, of okayness. Anyway, guys, this one's already way too long, I'm sure. And if y'all would, go comment down below what you think of the build, if you don't mind. And if you could, also, please hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see y'all in the next video.